English and communication is basically almost similar to what you speak now, but I think the confidence part that has changed. I think you've got a boost in your confidence now. To you, I'm just asking,
Yeah,
how did you work on your English and how did you get this level of fluency and
got it.
accuracy? Also, you're speaking pretty well, including a lot of advanced words, and they are really spontaneous because you're not thinking before using any advanced word or phrase. So, how did you get that into your speech?
Randomly going and watching every other video existed on YouTube. And I would not say it was the basement of time. Obviously, I learned a couple of things here and there. And when this was a big hurdle for me, having said that, I do podcasting a lot that time and I was not even aware. I do remember there were more than 10 talks where I was clueless and I was thinking that other person is, just ending the sentence and what do I need to ask again. And I was literally the fear, if you go and watch of my videos, you'll get to learn fine. Otherwise, do one thing. You can, just stuck your tongue in between of teeth like this. To know your perspective, how eventually did you develop this habit, because it is again very hard to do this and I really find it difficult. So I use this method, so would like to know your perspective out there, how to be a good listener. Have you Do you have any person whom you feel that okay, this person is gonna to listen you, or if you feel uncomfortable or any of the situation where you wanted to want a good listener, whom do you prefer talking to? Do you have your parents or span or someone whom do you talk to? Because personally I feel
After writing, I just tear it down and throw or burn it. So that I don't know, it kind of gives me relief.
you started frequently visiting to psychiatrists, and the psychiatrist told that either you'll have to come to me quite frequently to share your thoughts and emotion, otherwise you can do this practice now.
Afternoon, how are you doing?
Very good afternoon, Santa. I'm doing pretty well and absolutely insane this year. Thank you for asking. How about you doing today?
Yes, I'm doing pretty well as well. My day has been pretty productive today. So, yeah, feeling happy about that.
Lovely, lovely. See, it seems like you have already checked all those things what you have scheduled for today.
Not all, but yeah, a few of them.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Yes. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the introduction as usual. So, please tell me about yourself.
Sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Janshuman Misra. Basically, I come from UP, more specifically near about Ayodhya, Sultanpur. And I'm working closely with the people who know actually what to speak in public, but really struggle to say it clearly, more confidently in terms of public. So, over last 2.5, almost 3 years, I'm working with them, the person who really feels they need to improve their communication and their vital aspect of depicting themselves in public. So I'm closely working with them in terms of the YouTube conversational videos and even personal mentorship. So not just for sake of English improvement, for the sake of betterment of their life, because my core belief is very simple, that if someone can communicate better, the quality of life improves drastically, whether it's personal relationship, professional curriculum, or socially and emotionally they grow. So that's what I'm doing on YouTube for 2.5 years, and I'm really excited regards that way to have a conversation regarding. So that's pretty much about me.
Okay, so do you do this full time or do you have any other job? Are you
Yeah,
studying?
no, I'm currently like 25 graduate, computer science graduate, and then I'm full-time working professional too. I work as an consultant for an US based firm. So my usual work is to go office by night time. So morning time, it's packed up with communicational session, networking, and talking to the people, understanding and helping them away. Yeah,
Okay, great. You're working in the night shift, and during the day, you help people improve their communication skills, if I'm right.
right, absolutely right.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, after you sent in the request, I just went through your YouTube channel, and I think you're not very consistent on YouTube, isn't it? There are like maybe monthly ones. Yeah, you're not that very
Yeah,
consistent. Maybe now you are getting consistent. But I saw your
yeah.
videos from 2 years ago. So English and communication is basically almost similar to what you speak now. But I think the confidence part that has changed. I think you've got a boost in your confidence now. So, so what changed over time?
What changed? I mean, obviously the confidence, you mentioned it well, is something what I feel, I get with a lot of repetition. after talking to so many people, understanding the things where I was actually lagging and what should be the next step to get out of that. And second is something I feel the same person is being that time to 2.5 years back, just being there, trying to understand the things better, understanding my personality, what do I really wanted to learn. And that's where this journey of YouTube has been started so far. And talking a bit about consistency part. So yes, I feel that I was not being consistent in terms of producing content more regularly, but I was consistent in a part that I was committed to have an improvement in myself. That's where this channel starts from, because at the very first day of college, I got to know that Anshuman, you'll have to work on your communication, more specifically to the spoken English part. So that part was consistent, and behind the scene, taking participation in a college or wherever I get time or wherever I get people to speak a chance. So I was never letting it go. And a little bit of part I was documenting on public, because that's very good forum to learn in a public. Though uploading, I started with a simple habit. Okay, let's take a challenge for upload a video in a week. So every weekend I used to have that. So regularly it started going well. And some of the time, because of transitioning of my career to, college life to professional life, it was not that much consistent. As you mentioned, for some month only one video came, but I think the consistency part was there for me. I felt that I should be connected because I was personally growing. Whether I would say that that time, as you mentioned, I was really invisible there in terms of number. People would not maybe seeing me much, but this time from 26 Feb 26, it was really life changing moment for me once I took a step ahead and came to this content creation journey and helping people seriously, that okay, now I'll be also giving a full shot to this, and whatever ways I can, I would be creating the content so far. So by and large, this consistency part was been there since long time, and the confidence you mentioned is really what changed in myself. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend you by saying you were not consistent.
No, no, no. No, not really, not really. By the
Okay.
way, before even getting a deeper dive, I would like to have a brief introduction from your side. Since I had been gone through with the channel, I do have bit of knowledge that. So if you'd give a brief introduction, would be great to go with.
Sure. So you already know my name, and I've been running this channel for the past 2 years now. Prior to that, I used to work as a trainer on online spoken English platforms, basically dealing with spoken English. By qualification, I'm a software engineer. I worked in the IT industry for a couple of years before taking a career break. Later, I started off as a trainer, and then I'm here doing YouTube full time.
Lovely. I mean, like the aspect that coming from engineering background, you again been here, and that was common part of myself too. So I could resonate with you. Lovely.
Yes.
Yeah,
I guess
we are ready
engineers
to go.
want to do a lot of things, including engineering.
Yeah, there is one perception I really like to put it away, that engineers do everything except engineering. I don't know how much to it is, but
We do engineering
yeah,
first, and then we try to explore different things.
correct. Life engineering kind of thing we used to do. Right.
Yes, that's true. But like, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask me before I shoot you with mine?
No, no. Meanwhile, it would be, I guess that I would be also having the bandwidth to ask the question in between, because that should be more conversational. So I'll be asking in between too, if you won't mind.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, of course, no problem at all. So, was your biggest hurdle English or communication? What was more on your mind that you have to improve your English first? Because we have priorities, right? So, either
Yeah.
focus English and then communication skills, or what exactly was lacking that you wanted to improve first?
As I mentioned, that the very first day I got the clarity, since coming from, non-spoken background. So that was the first hurdle I faced while I joined the college. And I was very sorted. I was very prioritized. Even leave the engineering for now, focus on to this language, because if I could not speak, how would I make friends? How would I, survive to my college? So obviously from day one, that was my focus. And here and there, after 1.5 years, second year onwards, I felt comfortably talking people, right? That I can manage the talk. I'm having good grasp on the onto the speaking part, where I can talk with any of the person irrespective of their age and all. So lately, I am the person who always look what's the next. So Then I started feeling, okay, Anshuman, now you are good at speaking. Do you really wanted to be here, or you wanted to see other aspect of life too? Then lately I got to know, and I was watching a video of Matt Ibrahim, which is who is a tutor who used to train, people to being a communicator. So I got that video on YouTube, and it suddenly hit my mind that speaking is only a part of communication, and communication itself has a wider aspect where your body language, listening skills, your tonality, your understanding of the thoughts, your message is there. So lately I just changed my priority from being eloquent speaker after knowing that I can manage the things, I can speak better, to being a communicator. So this time I'm more focused onto the communicational aspect where I could connect with the people, I could give them solution in terms of understanding their pain points and all is my focus these days.
Yes, and you also spoke about engineering and getting a degree, right? So it just came into my mind that what do you think is more important, being skilled or having a degree? Because communication, English, all of these are skills, right? So do what do you think is more important in this era, especially having good skills or having a degree?
I mean, I feel that I'm quite young to give this answer
No, you are of the
because,
right age because you are the young force joining the
yeah,
workforce. So yeah, what's your perspective?
sure. So I would say my perspective, because I have lived this life, I have completed the engineering, so I couldn't say that was not something where I get the things. Obviously, the tech factor, I can do the technology things, I can adopt the AI much faster than a non-tech people could do. So those things I feel would come with the degree. So degree do have their own importance in terms of networking people, in terms of getting an environment where people are being associated and working in the same direction. So obviously we cannot ignore that factor. Having said that, obviously there is, some flaws over our educational curriculum. Where do we actually need to look into? I felt so. Probably I might be wrong too, though, in terms of technical aspect, in terms of building your whole personality as a person and individual who eventually would gonna take this life ahead and, get into the battle of uh, being, living and understanding and figuring out the things. I feel that um, college would never give you a chance to learn those things unless you are being aware that you also learn one of. So I think that's where the skill comes into picture. So what how I see myself in this era is something I feel privileged to have a degree, which gives me a good environment, a good people to hang around, to learn from them, a good social networking platform, and setting my launch base. And then over of top of that, I built my skills, analyzing my strength, interest, weaknesses, and all. And that's where I can feel this is cherry on top for me, and people could adopt this. And again, it's not subjective about any of the degree you are possessing. It's about your, own interest and own commitment, that what skill you wanted to take. Because this time, internet is there, you can learn any of the things, go on internet. So it's more about your intention. So by and large, there is no debate on a skill and degree. They comes with their own pros and cons. So I would love to go with amalgamation of both.
I think they should go hand in hand, right? What degree
Right.
gives you skills don't give you that because learning skills these days is pretty easy. Like through YouTube, you're going to learn that. But I think to
Exactly.
get a degree, you need to have a lot of patience, and it will make people know that you actually showed up at college for 4 years continuously to get a degree. So it
True.
makes you more reliable. So I think they have to go hand in hand.
Right, right. That makes a lot of sense, since I could resonate with you. You have also completed your degree, and you might be understanding the pain of, clearing 48 subjects, assignments, and also, yeah, that part is being there. We do need to have a lot of patience. That correct.
True. And you also speak amazing English when it comes to the words and choice of words and the sentence formation. So, is there any specific practices you did to improve your English? And then for your communication skills, I think you are talking to a lot of people. That is how you're enhancing. But when it comes to the English part, how did you do it?
Okay. More specific to the word choice of word, correct? Tell me if I'm getting the wrong question. So you were asking about the choice of word I used to pick, or the kind of pronunciation I do use to have. So you are asking about that aspect. How did I grow with the time?
No, no. In general, like now talking to you, I'm just asking
Yeah.
how did you work on your English and how did you get this level of fluency? And
Got it.
accuracy also, you're speaking pretty well, including a lot of advanced words, and they are really spontaneous because you're not thinking before using any advanced word or phrase. So how did you get that into your speech?
Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you for clarity. Though this part is something what obviously, like, I would say it didn't come to me drastically, or I did not do anything, mystical, or what I could say, not anything what is not been there. It's just a kind of process driven thing. I know that if we wanted to learn something, again, there is a certain procedure we do need to follow. So talking particularly of my journey of learning this language as a skill, English language skill. So how do I approach this language once I started way back 2.5 years back? So I feel once I got the clarity, and Shuman, you need to have improvement on your English spoken, I started with YouTube. As every people, I feel this, if they have any concern, they go on YouTube or Google that how do I improve this. So I also did the same. I came back from the college and I started typing how to improve my English spoken within a day. So even though I was watching just title and thumbnail, you can improve your English drastically within a day. Before even thinking twice, I was watching that video obsessively, and that was the 6 month. I remember the time span where I was not being heading towards any direction, just randomly going and watching every other video existed on YouTube. And I would not say it was the basement of time. Obviously, I learned a couple of things here and there and connecting the dots. I got some clarity. This is not the right way. So lately understood that okay, everything comes with the fundamental. Why not to go back and learn the fundamentals and the basics? And having said that, every language skill do have their own fundamental. I hope that everybody is being aware with LSRW rule. So every language do have their own things that you'll have to listen, read, write, and speak. Ultimately, we will have to speak. So again, for 1 year, I started jotting down the things apart and trying to build my whole day around this, so that I would be having a balance of reading, writing, and speaking too. So for speaking, I again sort out the Fluency application, which I use for more than 2 years for free, for daily practicing for at least 20 to 30 minutes without even fail. I feel this is one of the life turning moment for me, because earlier, for again, after this investing 6 months here and there, after
Mhm.
1 year of putting all those three pillars, I mean, reading, writing, and watching things, but not giving much importance to the speaking, I lately understood. Anshuman, you'll have to speak. Ultimately, you wanted to speak. Why not spending time to speak? So again, that was the turning point, and this aspiracy comes in the picture, and that's where I took it up and started speaking regularly for half an hour, 40 minutes, and that's where, I mean, I feel that was the one point what I feel was a very differentiation from the other factors of my life. So in summary, as you asked me this question that what really made or what kind of practices I do, I did not do anything extraordinary, just sticking to the fundamental and understanding the importance of what you really wanted to do. Because I was very sorted, I wanted to speak better at the very first day of college. I focused more after 1 year of spending here and there to focus on speaking purpose, and that's how I am better at this, I feel. And I'm looking forward to learn more aspect of wider communication, and now that's how I'm focusing on many more aspect of that. Yeah,
Yes. And when it comes to communication, it's a two-way road, right? It's about two
correct.
people talking. And if one person is quiet, or if you are in an unfamiliar situation, so what do you fall back on? Like, how do you keep the conversation going?
Oh, when this was a big hurdle for me. Having said that, I do podcasting a lot that time, and I was not even aware. I do remember there were more than 10 talks where I was clueless, and I was thinking that other person is, just ending the sentence, and what do I need to ask again? And I was literally the fear. If you go and watch of my videos, you'll get to know that Anshuman is being very feared that what do he, even some of the time I'll have to, cut the videos because I was fumbling. I was, so there would be a moment, I can't deny that I was good at this, but you rightly mentioned the communication is two-way process, and the wider aspect of communication follows 80-20% rule. Even the life skills also, everywhere this rule is being followed, that in a communication the 80% rule is of listening. And again, listening, people would take it as a very light way, that I'm I'm listening, na. I'm listening. Whatever you are saying, I'm listening. But listening not in terms of just sake of speaking, as I can see that you are a very good listener. You are listening me not in terms of only for the sake of saying that you are listening. You are listening for sake of understanding my thoughts and analogies, and then asking the better questions. So that was the thing. Once I realized as Anshuman, good, you're good to go for speaking, but you do need to understand this concept of listening, and not for the sake of listening only, for the sake of understanding. That's where the things started getting changes, and over and over, going through the same process, refining myself in a better term that I would listen more. And I do, because if you are being someone who really habitualized to speak more, so it would be very hard you to control your mouth once you're everywhere. So I do have that habit. In between, I was poking again and again. I was not letting other person to complete, and that was one realization. Then I started searching out, how do I stop this if I would not other person let the complete the things. So am I actually a good communicator, or it just for the sake of spoken English? So I started following a habit. It is very general, everybody can do that. So if other person is speaking, if you feel that you can stop yourself, well and fine. Otherwise, do one thing. You can, just stuck your tongue in between of teeth like this. So let the other person complete. It would be a, kind of reminder for yourself. Be calm. Let them complete and understand what they're speaking. So open your mouth once you understood and then speak. So that was the turning point, which gave me a sense of being a better communicator in terms of being a good listener.
That's absolutely true because it sometimes shows on the faces of people who join, right? Usually they speak a lot. We have more speakers and we have very less listeners because listening needs patience. And
Right.
many people don't have that. So whenever I talk to a person, it's very evident on their faces. They are waiting for me to complete or they just can't hold themselves. So I can read the face. So I just hurriedly finish whatever I'm saying just because I want that person to speak. And it's almost they cannot control. They want to speak. But when it comes to communication, it's also about keeping your facial expressions under control and not letting out what's happening within you, no matter how much
Correct.
urge you have that I have to speak now and I have to interrupt this person, but still, like you just have to hold on. Your time will come. Like once let the person finished speaking, it's gonna be your time to
Right.
speak. So just have your thoughts gathered. But also another problem is you forget, right? When I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking something and you have some point in between, like maybe I told a sentence and you want to correct me or put your perspective out, or you want to interrupt me. But when you're waiting for me to finish, that you will forget that what you wanted to say. So even that is a
True.
drawback. That's a hurdle. So for that, what I do is I just keep a pen and paper handy so that I don't forget. And
Right.
second thing is you zone out during conversations, right? That happens with me a lot, especially if the opposite person is speaking a lot, beating around the bush. So it happens with me, or if the conversation is really boring, so I zone out sometimes. So that is also one drawback, and its communication is not that easy as people assume it to be.
Right. And I would like to, as I mentioned, that you are a really a great listener. So would like to know your perspective. How eventually did you develop this habit? Because it is again very hard to do this. And I really find it difficult. So I use this method. So would like to know your perspective out there, how to be a good listener.
I think I'm lucky enough that it is a part of my nature, that I'm a good listener. I don't speak a lot. I listen, I observe a lot. I barely speak. Especially with people around me, it's very difficult. I just listen to them. And no matter they are telling me their problems, sometimes people just need somebody to listen to them. Just listen to
Right.
whatever they're saying. They don't want suggestions. They know what to do, but they want somebody to hear out them or listen to
Yeah.
them. So I am a good listener. So that is a part of my nature. There's nothing specific that I've done to imbibe it in within me or something. No, I am like by default I'm a good listener. So I enjoy because it is a lot of energy spent when you keep speaking. So try to
Right.
like calm down and listen. It's good for you. So I think people should try doing that.
Lovely. I feel it is coming naturally to you, but it would be very hard the person who is being deliberately, waiting for their time and chance to speak more. So probably they would find a little bit difficult. Though you've said nature, I feel, some of the time, even this is with me too, since I'm being adaptive or looking towards being a good communicator in terms of that, I do have to listen more in order to understand the other person's perspective so that I can help them more in terms of understanding what they are, feeling towards. So In that process, Anta, I would like to know your perspective. Some of the time we are, having our own problems, our own thoughts and analogies. So do you have any person whom you feel that, okay, this person is gonna to listen you, or if you feel uncomfortable, or any of the situation where you wanted to, want a good listener, whom do you prefer talking to? Do you have your parents or span or someone whom do you talk to? Because personally, I feel my mom is someone whom I'll call in every situation when I feel that, okay, now it's up. I listen everybody. I can give the solution. But for me, who is that? Either I go and journal, but not every time we can do this, right? We also do need some emotional support, a good person who can listen, give us suggestions. So who's that person in your life? Or you are only enough to take suggestion, analyze the thing because you're a good observer?
I used to have somebody, but they are no longer there. So after that, I think books are my best friend because there are some things that you can share with your parents, you can share with your family, but there are some secrets, darker or something which you cannot tell anybody,
Correct.
right? I used to have
Correct.
that kind of person with whom I could say everything, but unfortunately, they are no longer there. So now I do journaling. If there is something that I cannot hold back, you need something
Yeah.
like a brain dump, right? For that, I write it
Exactly.
in paper. Either if it is hurtful, I after writing, I just tear it down and throw or burn it. So that I don't know, it kind of gives me relief. I don't know if it does to other people, but I've heard it does. So you just write, burn it down, and it relieves you. Other than that, once you write, you start feeling lighter about it. So I think journaling now, that's my best friend. For only few things which I cannot share with anybody, I write them down.
Lovely, lovely. I mean, I'm also gonna adopt this. That's why I asked this question. Journaling, I used to do this, but this is very good analogy. I was not been aware that we can also take it in that way, the things and darker secrets, what we used to have, and it started bothering us. So better to write down, have some, clarity and have some rest in our mind, and then we can also burn it down. Really. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, no problem at all. Because I heard this that when people argue that what will happen if you burn down your thoughts, everything is going to be within you. So, what difference is that going to make if you write it on a paper and tear it or burn it? But the thing, see, just suppose somebody has written a letter to you. Maybe for young parents, their child has written the birthday card or something on a paper and given them, or some loved one has written something for you and given. You preserve it, right? Just imagine you something happens to that paper or you throw it somewhere, you lose it or you're going to tear it. Like some damage has happened. You will feel bad about it, won't you? So it
Obviously.
definitely affects. So that is the connection. And I thought it resonated with me. So let's do it. I tried. It worked for me. So I think you should give it a try too.
My God. Now I remember one incident. Even one of my sister is struggling with a little bit of stress and anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and she you started frequently visiting to psychiatrists, and the psychiatrist told that either you'll have to come to me quite frequently to share your thoughts and emotion, otherwise you can do this practice. Now I can relate that why did she tell like this. Oh my God. Things are getting connected in a very good manner. So probably, and from today onwards, I gonna do this for sure. Yeah,
Yes. If something is bugging you, bothering you, try doing this.
lovely.
Okay. So do you consider yourself fluent now? Or yes, if yes, like why? Or if not, what is it that you still want to improve when it comes to your fluency?
Fluency means for me, I just see this fluency in a way that I could communicate with anyone without even just having this translation in my mind. So that's why I look for myself, and I feel that I am 90% comfortable with that, though I cannot deny this fact. Having said that, we are born in India and we cannot totally remove this thing. So probably I would also say that there are more than 5 6 10 even 10% chances to be better. There is always a scope of improvement, I can't deny this. So obviously I feel I'm at that position where I can talk with the people without doing translation. That's there. Though I would be seeking more improvement in terms of being more natural, so that things started coming more naturally once I'm talking to somebody. So
Mhm.
obviously I was looking for that, but I would not say that I'm perfect. Never.
Of course, neither of us are perfect, right? Nobody is perfect, by the way. There's always room
Correct.
for improvement. Somebody better than you listens to you. Definitely, they'll be able to point out, like, what is the error
Exactly.
and what you have to improve.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay, so if you had to start your journey again, because we all make mistakes. If you ask me if I had to start my YouTube journey again, what would I do? So maybe there'll be a few points. So in your communication or English journey, so what are those mistakes? And if given a chance, what would you do better this time?
Okay. Thoughtful question. I'll have to take a moment to think.
Sure.
Okay. First and foremost, I believe that I was fortunate enough to being aware that I do need to do this at the very first step. Though that awareness comes once I landed from 12th to, the college. I find everyone is, being comfortable with this. I find myself, am I doing something wrong? So the awareness started coming a little bit late because of the background change. I feel if people would be aware with what they actually want. So that's where the kind of changes here and there in their mind, thoughts, and action would start changing. So that's number one. I feel being aware would be giving you a chance and liberty to change yourself much faster than you can. And number two, analyzing and being focused that why exactly you wanted to do this. And I feel that again, I was privileged enough to have an sufficient reason to change or learn this language skill. That's what sustained me for last 2.5, almost 3 years to stuck to this journey and learn the thing seriously. Number three, if I being aware, I know that why I'm doing this. The third is action, which is very important. And I would again say I'm not fortunate because I was too lazy in my college days. I do remember that I was missing everything. Everything was messed up there. I cannot say like I'm very structured and disciplined person since day one. No, never. I cannot imagine. Even I do remember the things. My friends were, just coming me and mocking me that, hey, come to college. If there is college time by 9:30, they were calling me by 9:20 and I was sleeping. Within 5 minutes, I was getting ready and for whole 4 years went like that. So I do used to remember that. Why I'm saying this because I feel if you have awareness, if you have enough sufficient, motive to go, so the action is only what, just making differentiation between where you wanted to go and where you are today. So taking action in the right direction is one thing what we should be looking towards. So if I'll have to improve my journey again in terms of YouTube, I would be more consistent, I would be more process driven, I would be more focused onto the action part because as I told that I wanted to speak better and for 1.5 years I was not much focused on the speaking. So probably my main focus or majority time would go for speaking if I would get a chance to again, recycle back to my journey. Otherwise, everything seems to be aligned in a good manner, and I'm enjoying that because now I'm seeing back and I'm saying, "Oh, Anshuman, you did a great job." Because, the same person who was not able to introduce himself at the day first of college, being a little bit mocked and just feeling embarrassed, that guy left the college with a good, scar onto the people who laughed at them and having a great friend circle, having a great connection with their, and they know and they genuinely feel this guy had done something, and that respect always been with me. So I feel I really achieved something in terms of that. So that's the one thing I really wanted to say. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think that is the number one mistake many people do while learning English as well, right? They don't speak enough. So I think, yeah,
Correct.
and people know this. They know, I think somewhere deep down, they know they are not doing this thing. And, the fear and everything holds them back. But I think, like, rather than regretting later that this is my mistake, and if I do again, I will not do this mistake. Rather than that,
Right.
we are telling you this is the number one mistake. So don't do this. Start speaking.
Right. And you mentioned one question while framing the question. I do remember that if you would get a chance to go back and start your YouTube again, what would be the things you would be not doing or you would be more focused on? Please tell me the answer.
Okay, more focused on, I think, better equipment. I think so,
Okay.
yeah, because my voice was low, but English almost the same level of English I would speak. Maybe I'm more experienced now. After talking to people,
Yep.
maybe I have become a better communicator. But when it comes to English, I think that part was almost there. Yeah. And other than that, I think technically better equipment because we all start somewhere, right? I was naive. So I think that thing I would like to change.
Yeah, obviously that equipments give a better quality, and eventually I also started realizing and trying to upgrade the things. Though I think, but that shouldn't be. And I really like this fact that people would give a lot of excuse while they start. Even they feel the take is as an barrier for them that I don't have this, I don't have this, I cannot make videos too. But we would say this. We have already started with a basic phone and all, and obviously this time also I'm recording with phone and webcam, so that was never a hurdle. But yeah, obviously we could upgrade after a certain point of time. The quality of videos and the kind of engagement would be better. However, one additional question, Santa, I would like to ask, since I feel that I barely get chance to talk, a great speaker as well as a great communicator. So I got you there, having a good amalgamation of that. So would like to know that what's the next you're planning, since I can see you're a great and eloquent speaker, you're a great communicator too. You do have patience, listening skills, understanding, framing sentence, masses, everything is being aligned. So what is one thing you are looking towards? What's the next process?
So honestly speaking, I'm not a very ambitious person. Yes, I might be good at
Okay.
English, I might be good at communicating, but I do not think of very far ahead in my life because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
homemaker with young kids. You never know, right? When you have dreams, when you plan things and they don't work out, it gives you disappointment. So I do not have expectations as much. So as of now, I am doing what is fruitful for me or whatever I'm feeling like doing, what is giving me happiness, I'm doing that. I do not want to weave dreams for the future. But we all know that YouTube is not very sustainable in the long run. So maybe I will
True.
start training people online, which I'm not doing these days. I'm just focusing a lot on YouTube. But then your graph, it stays steady for some time and it's not working. Maybe something happens. So maybe I'll go ahead teaching people, training for English. So maybe that's what I'll do. But as of now, it's doing pretty well and I'm happy. I'm just, lying in my comfort zone. Guilty of saying that, but yes, I am. My priorities are different at this point of time. So for family, for personal life, I do have a few things what I want to do. But professionally, yeah, I think teaching that would be, yeah, and continuously evolving. As you said, there's always room for improvement. So there's so much that I have to learn. For example, from you, you're a great storyteller, and your choice of words are good. You are a good communicator. I like the tonality of your voice. So maybe all of these things I would like to inculcate as well, because people listen when you sound interesting, right? It is not easy to sound interesting. A lot of us, majority of us, are boring. So maybe I want to inculcate that. So yeah, one step at a time.
Lovely. I mean, I would say the kind of honesty you do have and the kind of guts to say this that I am not ambitious. Having said that, everything you are doing correctly is, takes a lot of courage to do this. And yeah, I obviously must agree with this thought that priority gets changed with the time. We have, sort of things what we'll have to do with the time. So yeah, I do understand that.
Mhm.
But it's been more than 30 minutes now. I could see the counter running, and I was really, feeling peace that how the time flies, right? It's been half an hour. We were into the communication, and the
Yes.
conversation goes in the flow that, oh my God.
Yes,
So
and it
probably,
rarely happens. There was no dull moment at all. Like I
yeah.
enjoyed the conversation thoroughly, and it was really great.
Yeah, even for me, it was very insightful session to learn so many things, especially in terms of communicational thing, because I find a eloquent speaker very, frequently, but in terms of great communicator, I do not get very often. So yeah, that was today is the day once I also got that person too. So probably I'll gonna learn many things, and also this genuinity is what I will also inculcate from you. So thank you so much for your time again.
You're welcome, but it is not, so straight trees are cut first, so it's not right to be genuine in this case. But that is also again my nature to be genuine. So that is the reason I just boldly shared it. So do you have time for a quick rapid fire?
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
Okay, okay. One underrated technique for improving fluency, according to you.
By speaking, because
Yeah,
people don't speak
underrated.
much.
That's true. That's true. Okay. One habit that slowed down your progress.
Not reviewing my output regard the input.
Lack of feedback.
Exactly.
Okay. So, one thing beginners should stop doing immediately.
thinking only, start taking action, start opening your mouth.
Yes, and as you said, awareness, that's the first step. And it's
Right.
always that, the first step is the hardest. So being aware is something magical. Once you get that awareness, it won't take much time for you to act. You have to be aware.
Right. Right.
Okay, one thing that boosted your confidence the most.
Practice, practice, and practice.
Right. And your go-to way to practice speaking when you're alone.
Come up again. Sorry, I didn't get that
Your
question.
go-to practice when you have to practice speaking alone. Which is your go-to practice?
I mean, what strategies I do follow, or what do I do
Yeah, yeah.
while
What do you
going
do?
before?
Like, one technique that you follow when you have to practice speaking alone. Many of us do. For me, it is
Mhm.
talk to myself. So for
Got
you,
it.
what is that technique?
Yeah, like majority of the time it's talking to myself or just writing down on a piece of paper to have a clear structure because the masses should be clear. Yeah, as simple as that.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Wonderful talking to you. So, anything else before we wind up?
No, I would like to have one more session. Obviously, have a lot of questions here and there. So very soon we're gonna do if the times align, and
Yes.
also if we get the times aligned. So probably we can do one more. So again, thank you so much, and have a great day ahead.
Absolutely. I'll get back to you. So, yeah, whenever you want to have a next session, just drop in a mail. So, if times align, we'll go ahead with it.
Sure, sure. Thank you so
Thank you so
much. Bye
much. Have a
bye.
good day and good luck. Bye bye.